Still gonna pick up some more power there.
Yeah, just needs less, not more.
Yeah.
Holy shit. So I keep going. She's up well into the probably gonna split the block range. Like I don't know what to say. I'm really worried that I'm gonna break your car if we run it out.
Well, if it weren't for last minute gong shows, what fun would life be, right? I was on the phone with Matthew Puzzi last night, Tech Motion, my buddy that tunes, or is going to tune my car for me. And he said, hey, you don't happen to have like a wideband gauge in that car, do you? I'm like, no, I thought about it, but I didn't do one. He's like, well, I remember from last time dicking around with your tailpipes, because he's got like an O2 sensor you can put at the back of the tailpipe, which isn't ideal, but kind of gets the job done. Anyway, he goes, well, I figured you would have, right? You put a supercharger on your car. I'm like, I know, it crossed my mind. I just didn't do it, right? So it's on the list of many, many things to do. At any rate, he's like, well, listen, it's Wednesday. You're coming here Friday. Do you think you can get some bungs welded into your H-pipe before you get here so we can like properly get a reading on this thing? I'm like, sure. This all happened last night. So here I am. Now, just to paint the rest of the picture for you folks, I've been kind of talking about how we've been getting nice weather this winter. Well, old Mother Winter has decided to strike with a vengeance. It is like, well, it's minus 15 Celsius, which is about 5 degrees Fahrenheit out here right now. But where I'm going to Matthews in Calgary, Alberta, it's like minus 30 Celsius. I don't even know what the hell that is Fahrenheit. Effing cold. Way below 0 Fahrenheit, okay? So I'm kind of like, oh my God. And I mean, the snow's not supposed to really come down, maybe a little bit, but anyway, I'm going to be trailering this poor old girl over there, so it'll be covered, but it'll be cold. So I got some other things I'm working on here too. I've got a buddy heater that I'm going to like fire up in the trailer to just kind of like bring things up the temp, so I'm not starting this poor car in minus awful. So dicking around with a great big 30-pound propane tank this morning and my buddy heater, making sure that thing works so I can get some heat going in the trailer before I fire it up. But this is all the last minute details surrounding taking my car over to be tuned and ultimately find out what kind of numbers it lays down, because Matthew tunes it on Dyno. Alright guys, we got bungs welded in and I got them plugged up because, well, I don't have anything to put in them right now. Matthew's going to use them, and then I will most likely run a dual wideband system here. I know I should have initially, but like I said, a lot of moving parts in this little iteration my old green car's gone through, and just wasn't into spending the money on one more gauge and one more thing and one more project, but that'll be something I do when I get back from Matthews. Anyway, yeah, these are just Vibrant O2 sensor bungs, and then funny enough, my local parts store was actually out of like the bung plugs. This is a generic drain plug. I think it's like for a small block Chevy or something like that. Anyway, they had 2 of those sitting there, so we checked the thread pitch and everything and they work, so we're back in biz. So I'll get those anti-seized up, tightened up, and this back in the car. Okay, folks, I didn't film loading the car because I really didn't know how that was going to go, but it's in there. It is freezing cold outside right now. I'll give you a little tour around and show you kind of what's what here. Okay, there she is. I got snow on the ground. Again, cold, cold, cold. And tires that don't like to be cold at all, so I was a little squirmish, I'm gonna be honest. Putting the car in here was a nail biter, but we got her in. We are strapped down, ready to rock and roll in the morning. I got my buddy heater strapped in so I can actually throw some heat in the cargo area of this thing before I go to flash it up in minus 35 Alberta cold weather. But yeah, it went pretty good. 0600. Oh my God, is it cold out this morning? Oh. Okay, you guys ready to rock and roll? How come you look happy on camera but not off camera? All right, a little on the road update for you folks. We have, I don't know if anybody's sleeping back there. They have been. There's Kay sleeping. Oh yeah, Kay's out. Me and Mama get to spend some time having a coffee, rolling down the road. Gas station slop. It's not the best coffee in the world. Yeah. No room at the $7 for a truck and trailer this long. But we're out of the inverted winter that we typically live under. We live relatively close to the coast, so the cold of the east meets the warm of the west, and our valley gets socked in for the winters. So we don't see a whole lot of sun unless we get up to the top of the mountains, which we kind of are going over a pass right now. We're just at the start of one. But you can see I got the sunnies on because we got blue sky.
If you haven't seen blue sky in months, it is amazing.
It's lovely.
Feels so good. Your mood is instantly lifted.
This is very true. So we are dealing with some cold temps. It's getting colder and colder. This will make more sense to the Canadians out there. Minus 16 degrees Celsius, which I think is about 4 or 5 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's crisp. You see the exhaust of the vehicles in front of us, but we're making our way. Everything's good. We stopped and got fuel, I don't know, about an hour ago. Started the trip out with only about half a tank, so now we're good to get through the passes. That's another thing. When you live in the mountains, you don't fart around with, trying to get from point A to point B without a full tank of fuel, because you might hit something in the pass and you got to sit there and idle for forever. Oh, this poor guy in front of us is from California. I wonder what he thinks of minus 16. Anyway, we got a full tank and we're heading east. Still got a lot of miles ahead of us, but things are going well so far. All right, guys, we made her. I'm running a little lighter here too. Just kicked the family out. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier or not, but my wife's family is over here in Alberta, so she's gonna hop a ride from Calgary to Lethbridge, where her family is, and I'm gonna go over and do a little car stuff, and then I'm gonna head down and meet them Saturday night. But anyway, that's where they are, so it's a little, I think I say, quieter in the pickup now. Anyway, everything's good. Car's still following me. It's it looks like it's got a case of the dandruffs. I don't know if I got, like, there's vents on my trailer, kind of front up high on the side and other opposite side back down low, and then I've got one on the roof. Anyway, the one on the roof's closed, but I don't know if I'm like sucking in garbage through the vents or what, but the car is just covered. It could be shaken out of the roof too, like, who knows. Anyway, Matthew's gonna take me tonight, so I'm gonna head over to Tech Motion right now and get the car in his shop tucked away. I guess it'll be nice and warm tomorrow morning, because it does whatever, right? We're up in the north, it gets colder in the morning, warms up in the afternoon. It's about minus 10 degrees Celsius right now, so not the warmest, but I do got the heater. Mentioned that a few times. I'll maybe throw it on while I'm pulling the straps off it and get a little heat blowing on the old girl, thin the oil out, and then we can get her fired up and backed into his shop. So okay, let's turn the heater on in here first before we get too out of control. Oh yeah, you guys haven't been back here yet. Check out the dandruff. Awful. Like I say, I don't know if my trailer's shedding sawdust out of the roof or what. Okay, let's fire this rig up. See if we can get a little propane to move. Get the pilot going. Oh, come on, buddy. Get some gas in you. Yeah, you know it. Poor old C10. He's got like a 90s box on it. Huh. Step side box. Crazy. Oh, from Saskatchewan. She ain't no stranger to cold. Okay, let's go see what this crazy cowboy's up to. Maybe he's upstairs. There he is.
Hey.
Wow, it is cold out there. Okay, folks, my apologies. You're not going to get much of the unload here. I think it's too cold for even cameras. I stood out there for 30 seconds trying to game plan this with Matthew, and I was like, what is happening? So anyway, we'll get some more footage once we're in the shop and it's nice and warm here. Stand by. Oh. Good morning, folks. Okay, it's D-Day, actually, if you know what I mean, Dyno Day. So back at the shop here, Matthew's been slaving away here, kind of getting ready to rock and roll on my car. And we got to move a few things around here, so safety is a top priority, right? And we're going to see what the old girl does here and how she wants to respond. So very excited. Today's the day. I've been like a kid waiting for Christmas, and now it's happening. So anyway, we got Matthew working his magic here, the Yoda of Fox bodies, as I like to call him, getting ready to rock this old girl. Well, the fans worked. Whoever wired those up did their job.
Big fan of how these actually look. The Kenne Bells?
Yeah.
I was saying the matches now. It's the only combination I've never had.
Right. Yeah, it was one that, I mean, hell, I wanted from the 90s, which was kind of how this all unfolded, right? I'm like, gotta have it, gotta have it. And funny enough, my buddy that had it, he reached out and goes, hey, I'm thinking about selling this. Do you know anybody that would want it? I'm like, don't do anything with that, right? I want it. Yeah. It ended up being a bit of a headache, but...
Yeah. Which kit is on this one?
Xenon, it's called.
Oh, Dyno.
Yeah.
That's a name that disappeared.
Okay, better document or update while we got the quiet here. Just got a little antifreeze coming out of the overflow. So another thing, actually, you know what's funny? I got Kyle here, actually, just new buddy Kyle. Throw you in the YouTubes. You know what else is funny that's kind of weird to get your head around? Is like, what is it, 3,800 feet here?
Yeah.
Like this car
30,
came
3680 or 3860 or something.
from, this car came from 50.
Yeah.
Doubled elevation. Oh. Who's tuning this thing? Get that figured out, goddammit. So anyway, yeah, we got a little coolant coming out of the overflow. It's not coming out of anything super important, so we're gonna monitor. Keep sending it.
This is sourced from pre-compressor setup, is it?
Correct.
There is a boost source on here.
Right in the front there.
Here?
Yeah. So there's an open, or could be an open hole there if you wanted to back that plug out.
As soon as I step on it, it dies. Like as if it was shut off.
Right. Yeah, even the underhood light.
Not smoke or anything.
There was when you were, like when you were actually rolling, and you went at it the last time.
There was a
Plume.
a big black cloud.
I wouldn't go like diesel black, but yeah,
It's enough to say there was some fuel there.
yeah.
Maybe it's set too rich there. Obviously, we aren't getting a boost signal here, so we better.
Hook one up. All right, little status update for you folks. We're dealing with something we don't really know what the heck's going on. Under very quick wide open throttle, the car is like losing power, it seems. So we're kind of currently chasing down, well, everything and anything that we can think of. We just tried a different coil in it, another stock coil. I've got a stock coil in this car, and see if that's what it is. I don't know, it's kind of weird to explain. I mean, I guess you guys would have seen kind of what it does. I would have shown that before I'm talking about it here, but very odd reaction the car is having. Doesn't seem to have the same reaction when you slowly move it towards wide open throttle, but under like a very quick blip, I don't know, we got nothing. As far as everything's Matthews seeing on the computer end of things, like we're not losing TPS, we're not losing fuel pressure, we're not losing any of those things. It's almost as if we're losing power, oddly enough. Seems to be running very well in every other regard, but yeah, current status is poor Matthew's taking the coil out of his Lincoln right now, and we're gonna give that one a go. So Matthew just got a wide open pass. I didn't film it because we've
It
been
was really short.
yeah, and it seemed 16 and a half.
I think it said 60.
16.8 psi on the boost gauge.
Worries me a lot.
Yeah, which is kind of funny to sit here and talk about having too much boost. Everybody wants that.
You have stock pistons and rods.
Oh yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And a stock rod.
We want this whole girl to hold together.
And I don't know what I went there, 3,500 RPM or something, and
It hit hard.
yeah. Marker did it great.
Rolled some coal too.
Well, it looked black, but actually, I think it was black on tip end, and then it actually looked like it might be a little bit too lean when I got when it's settled in.
Ah.
Look, I saw a black buff when I tipped it in already, but then I think it cleaned up a bit. That's really short, so.
Right.
And it actually showed too lean for my taste on the light band, and it's a really, really short test. So.
Right. Steam at least. It'll make some steam at least. Yeah, maybe too much though. Holy Christ.
That sounds spicy. Let the air out.
Really?
It's smoky on that pass.
Didn't seem like it. What do you think, buddy? Oh yeah?
You made more power at 3,600 RPM than you did at the power peak before, because you can pour 16 pounds of boost on it. Did you redo pistons in this car?
Don't look at me like that.
Like,
Yeah, and I
I'm
know.
genuinely concerned we want to break it.
Right.
And I could put the methanol in, that helps reduce detonation and all that stuff, but I mean...
We're still making all that boost.
After heat-based timing pulls and stuff, I have like 12.5 degrees timing put in there, and
Right.
oh God,
On the plus side, it sounds good.
yeah. Listen, the tune-up is starting to go right. Like,
Yeah.
if I didn't think it was going to break, I could tune this car for sure. But holy shit. Pardon my language.
Wow. Where are you at RPM wise?
3,800. It made 290 wheel here at 3,800, which that's, say, better than any heads cam intake 302 makes here.
Wide open.
Yeah, wide open, like 6,000. Where power would be something like that, 62.
Yeah, it comes on quick too,
And I
eh?
can't really take any more timing out. Like, I've got a runner here now, at least. I don't know. We were screwed up here because the boost is so much more than expected.
Right.
I mean, if it made 6 pounds with the bypass wired wide open.
Yeah.
This is why we kind of got screwed up here. I virtually guarantee this production coil you have isn't going to run this car either. It's got my coil in it
Right.
right now. I could put the methanol on it, you know, to try and tame it a little bit, but
Well, and the only reason that's there is to hypothetically cool that thing down, right?
like, okay, this is up in the neighborhood where I ran my Terminator.
Right.
The Kenne Bell, boost wise. Oops. And it was pushed pretty hard.
Right.
That thing was. I don't know, I ran 17 or 18, and this is like 16 and a half or something.
Okay.
I'm having a little bit of a hard time getting the mixture quite where I want it to, but 16.7 pounds, right?
Yeah.
This is the power curve. This is your car from 2017 NA.
Right.
So you can see here we're, you know, 20 wheel horsepower, which is quite a bit on this thing. We're only at, that's 3,800 RPM there. So I keep going. She's up well into the probably going to split the block range. I mean, let's say this went up at this angle.
Yeah.
You're really on this dyno. Somewhere in here is your sort of stopping point if you want longevity. And I've seen them last up in here, but the higher you rev them, the more likely they are to split.
Right.
And because the thing is, you know, like just pulling it down, I don't think is even going to make, well, it's got to make some difference. But you're hitting the boost peak around 3,200, and then it's leveling off here.
Right.
And I would like this to be down in here. I'm having a little bit of a hard time getting it down in there, but car sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
That's all seems fine, but boy oh boy.
Make 'em boost.
Usually, like these production Fox bodies, we run like here.
Yeah.
10 pounds, 11, something like that. What do you think, Kyle?
I mean, if you ran it out and actually had some timing in there, I think you're definitely pushing that edge.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it'd blow it up on the dyno.
Well, it's just stock pistons I'd be worried about.
The rods aren't the most I mean, they're forged, I guess, but they're not the most fantastic either.
I mean, the nice benefit is on the street.
He's going to be in the territory where he splits the block, though.
Yeah. At least on the street it won't load up. It'll basically be free ribbon because it's just going to spin.
That's true.
And I have this tune-up. Well, I don't have it quite as rich as I want, but timing-wise, is that a 12.5 degrees after it's commanded 15, and then there's some, you know, air charge temperature reduction, so it's realized about 12.5 degrees there.
Right.
What are you seeing for IATs?
180, 190. And that charge temperature is in the after Like there's no intercooler on here, is there?
No, that's where the meth came in theory anyway.
I can I can turn on the meth. I think we were at something like 70% duty cycle on the injectors there too.
Wow.
At like 3,800.
That's at 3,800 too, though. That's no RPM.
Yeah. As you start to add, like your duty cycle increases with RPM because the available open time declines, right?
I mean, you will pick up some power just with the meth just cooling it down a bit. So you're still going to pick up some more power there.
Yeah, this needs less, not more.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd be having this discussion.
The biggest issue is you're making that power at 3,800 RPM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You know, like these are the short initial passes where we just try to get it in the neighborhood, and then I don't know what to say. I'm really worried that I'm going to break your car if we run it out.
This is like having too big a wiener. I've never had that problem.
That pulley on there is unbelievably small on the supercharger.
Yeah.
and it's definitely not slipping because it has all the wrap.
No, it's not slipping. There's no sign of that. No. The only thing that was slippy was the tires on the rollers, but it was pumped up like 38 pounds or something. So
Yeah, we heard that in one of the first runs where you actually got it open.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
You could hear it plateau on the
yeah, once I got the thing to start to run, then it's, what does it have for gears? Is 373?
You don't got a old underdrive crank pulley laying around, do you?
I don't know. I've got to look.
Huh.
16 pounds at 3,800. That's all the torque.
Yeah.
Before you even get to the horsepower, which that's where you're going to look at breaking that block. Whether it's the rods or the block or the pistons that give up first.
Totally.
A bad day, whichever way.
I wonder if this is translating to the camera. Because I think I was telling you, between being nervous and cold, I'm shaking like a leaf. Well, that's a good thing. It's making power. I mean, I love the sounds of that. I never thought we'd be, you know, worried about tire spin and everything else with this little mild, you know, build. Turns out it's not that mild.
I mean, it would be if it had original pulleys.
Yeah.
But then you'd be at a manageable power level where you wouldn't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
I mean, it still could last forever at those levels. You don't have any timing in it, really. The meth would keep it cool, keep the IATs down, so you wouldn't have to worry about any detonation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's only going to spin the tires.
Yeah.
Spinning the tires is not loading it up, so it's not going to blow it up under that.
Oh,
It'll
boy.
just free rev and make no torque.
Right.
You just don't really want to be banging off a rev limiter with 16 pounds behind it.
No. Oh boy, here we go. You want to take any guesses on how much difference it's going to make?
On the size of that pulley, I'd say 10 pounds. You'll be down to 10 pounds.
Oh, you figured that low? Okay.
It looks like a pretty severe underdrive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Not quite sure where I ended up with it from. It's not something I would have been running.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I think we're gonna be on the high side of 12. Yeah.
I mean, if this made 12 pounds, I
12 would be
feel
ideal.
a lot better.
Yeah.
Okay, hand me that pulley.
Right on your left-hand side. Oh, we did. How'd we do, boys? Looking pretty good.
This would stay together and it won't need the methanol like this.
Oh, yeah?
So before you were like 268 or something. So we're 100 of the wheels, which is really like 130 horsepower advantage over before. But now you can see our peak boost is 8.22.
Right.
This is totally manageable. Could it take 10? Yeah. 16 and a half? That's
right.
panic.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know, it could be adjusted a little bit probably. At this level, it probably doesn't need the methanol at all. I could work on that. When it comes to methanol, you know, either you have to decide whether it's going to be set up to gain power and it's a requirement, or it's set up for safety, and if something fails on it, you probably don't have a blow up.
Right.
So when you have that system, we can mess with it a little bit if you want. But I mean, this is a tune-up that'll probably stay together, and your air charge temperatures are less too, of course, because it's not pushing it so hard, right?
What are they at?
Like 165, 170. That's a cold day. And let me turn this fan off.
Yeah.
Trip over my fire. I don't know what inlet is. Kyle and I were discussing this while you were getting a belt, but shop, it's like 43 degrees in the shop right now, something like that. That's right here and without a wind blowing on it.
So we're running, yeah, we're pulling pretty cold
So
there.
then, you know, when you get to like a hot summer day, your inlet
90.
is going to be, yeah, say plus 50 degrees from here. That puts you in the,
Meth
you know,
category.
200, probably 200 degree charge temp
Right.
level. There are timing poles for the charge temp.
Right.
So we can mess with that. Anyway, I think we pulled success out of disaster here. We got the thing working. Like this is a totally usable setup.
Yeah.
And it's way stronger than it was.
Yeah.
That truck curve carries nicely, so it'll definitely be fun on the street.
What fuel is in it? Is it 91?
Yeah, there was 91 and I topped it up with 94, so.
It sounds good and clean too. Everything
Yeah.
sounds clean. Like I said, when it comes to methanol, either you set it up so it requires the methanol, and if something happens, pump fails, water runs dry, whatever, then you could get into trouble.
If you're horsing around.
Or you
with it,
set it up so that the methanol is there as a safety. Kyle and I were discussing, I don't like methanol, especially this style that sprays ahead of the blower, because it's not very compressible. It's a liquid, and it can even, like if there's Teflon coating on the rotors, which I'm not sure that there is on the Kenne Bell, but there is on like the Eaton blowers. It strips the Teflon coating off.
Right.
It can cause all kinds of trouble.
Okay, buddy. What'd you think?
Well, I mean, the car looks great. Everything's really well done. It wouldn't be a Foxbody if we didn't have a little bit of grief or whatever, but it wasn't too bad. I mean, your biggest problem is it come up like 16.5 pounds of boost,
Yeah.
which I'm telling you, if I had let it all hang out on that, I'm pretty sure you'd be going home in
With
tears.
soup under the hood?
Yeah. You got a winch in that trailer?
No. Yeah, we'd be pushing hard.
Yeah, so we pulleyed it down and found a underdrive crank pulley, and
By the sheer luck of God, too. I mean, you're rifling through bins up there, right?
well, I am a guy who has this kind of stuff around.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, whatever. That's why guys come here for Fox bodies. So
Yeah.
and they come here from a long way. You mean you're from a long way away, but you're not even close to as far away as people come. I get people here from the territories.
Really? Hey, wow.
You know, like Yellowknife, that kind of stuff. So, anyway, it's always frightening though when you come from a long way away, and we got a 1-day dyno schedule, especially today. It's a Saturday, so stuff is closed, and then something goes wrong. I thought for sure your coil was no good, but it was fine. It turned out to be fine.
Yeah.
So we tore a coil off one of my cars for nothing, I guess. The big problem was it was just too much boost. So
yeah, which we weren't expecting.
Car looks great though. I mean, very nice shape. I've always been partial to these deep forest emerald green cars, 7-Up color cars.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know if you caught it earlier, but I was telling you about a friend of mine who had one of these, a coupe like this. And it got stolen 3 times in 1 year, and finally he had to sell it. And another friend of ours has it here in Calgary, and it's got a takeoff motor from an Explorer, like with the GT40 heads and stuff, and upgraded valve springs because it had a valve float problem.
And they were hanging up or staying.
Well, they floated at high RPM, and because he's also got a Novi 1000. I mean, that blower is history, I guess, but you can still get the 1220. It's the same general idea.
Right.
And Novi 1000 on it, and a custom pulley, and I don't know, it made 10 or, I don't think it made 10 or 11 pounds of boost, something like that. Which, you know what, that's plenty for one of these with a production block and stuff. So if you want to keep it.
Well, and don't turn it into soup.
Yeah.
Right. So overall, I mean, super happy, right?
Yeah, I hope you're happy with it. I mean, it's a huge jump up from where it was before. It could be squeezed just a little harder with a couple more pounds of boost, but this is really in the territory where it should be, and better for longevity, especially with no intercooler.
Right.
And I think you're going to have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm looking forward to driving it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We're back. What an absolute time that was. Now, folks, I don't know if this clip that I'm about to film is even going to make it into the video, but if it does, I don't know if it's going to be at the start of the video. I don't know if it's going to be at the end. I am running off of very little sleep, and I don't even know what I've filmed, okay? It's all somewhere buried in an SD card, and I'm going to try and work with it, but I wanted to do some sort of like recap of things. Just in case I missed something along the way, I wanted to get this out while it's fresh in my head. So just got the car unloaded, and it is absolutely filthy. Now, this is kind of weird for me. I don't know if I am creating some sort of like atmosphere inside of my trailer while I'm driving down the road, but the garbage that I've got on my car is awful. There was even a point where we drove through some snow, and I stopped and checked the car, opened the trailer up, get in there, and there's this like dusting of snow that looks as if it's fallen. Like it's not blown across the car or anything, it's just on the car, like it fell out of the sky. It's the oddest thing. So the trailer's not airtight. I know it does have vents in it. I may have to create some sort of, maybe an old t-shirt or hoodie or something as like filters on my vents to stop this from happening, but anyway, is what it is. That's the least of my worries. So long story short, the car is running beautifully, okay? And I mean, I guess I can say that from the little bit of experience that I have loading it and unloading it, the car drives just as good as it used to, if not better, okay? So that is a win. Now, as far as lessons learned go, well, turns out my math is not very good because We were trying to shove 17 pounds of boost down the throat of this poor old 5-liter, stock bottom end, okay? In case you're just tuning in for the first time and you don't already know that, stock bottom end that I refreshed with bearings. I honed it myself with a ball hone. So not the strongest bottom end, right? But then, you know, like AFR 165s and the Comp XE 266 and whatever, and then this Kenne Bell. But yeah, as it turns out, the math that I ran based off of Kenne Bell's math, this thing was producing just gobs and gobs and gobs of boost. So much so that as we were trying to do wide open throttle passes, we were running this thing so lean, it was just shutting itself off. Because yeah, we didn't expect to see 17 pounds of boost, but as it turns out, as we worked our way through things, that's what we saw. Okay, so by the time we had checked for fuel, checked for spark, this is all while it was dying under like instant wide open throttle pulls, all of the stuff was checking out totally fine. And it wasn't until we pulled the bypass valve open manually, zip tied it open, and Matthew started doing like sort of progressively wide open throttle pulls, the car was still producing 6 pounds of boost with the bypass open, right? So we get it to the point where we can actually like mat it, because you know he's kind of dialing it in slowly as he goes. He comes out of it at 3,000 RPM and he's like, whoa, like what is going on here? He's got a reading of like 16.8 PSI worth of boost. And he goes, Garrett, like look at the screen right now. At 3,000 RPM, you've gone straight to 300 rear wheel horsepower. And he's like, we've still got, you know, another 3,000, whatever, 3,250 left in the RPM range. If you keep drawing that line upwards, you're in the like 550 plus territory. Like we're going to turn the bottom end of this car into soup if we try this. I'm like, I don't want to try that. You know, I mean, I ultimately want this thing to hold together, right? And at the same time though, you know, you want to see what you can do. And because the number that you create, I know it's all fictitious, but the number you create is kind of like payment for all your hard work, right? So anyways, he's like, you know, did you bring any other pulleys? I said, who brings bigger pulleys to a dyno day? You know what I mean? Like if anything, you show up and you start with a big one and you work your way smaller, right? To get more boost. You don't have so much boost that you want to wind it down. So anyway, and then, you know, based on my math, I figured we were going to be like more than safe. Well, that didn't work out. So anyway, we had to change, or we sort of scrambled, and I said, well, do you have an underdrive crank pulley? We found one in one of his bins, pulled the stock crank pulley off of my car, which I had actually put on from having the underdrive on there, because the Kenne Bell math that I wanted to use was all based off the stock crank pulley. So we pulled that one, put his underdrive pulley on. That brought us down to a manageable amount of boost, 8.5, give or take PSI. And now we could like safely run this car up and see what it could do. So anyway, all that being said, Mustang dyno, right, which are never very favorable if you're using them as a tape measure to measure your wiener, air quote wiener. You know, they tend to, whatever, give you lower horsepower numbers, right, than say a dyno jet. And I'm not trying to start any ruckus with anyone here. I mean, whatever, it is what it is. All I care is that this thing's fun to drive and reliable and whatever. But we shook out at 360 horsepower, okay, at 8.5 PSI. There's obviously, based on what I've just told you, way more in it if we want to push it. It is in the back of my mind that I would like to see this thing maybe up in and around that 10 PSI mark, and that'll obviously bump things up, but will also require me mailing my chip back over to Matthew, you know, pull some timing, do all the stuff. So we'll see, right, where that all goes. I guess it's like I say, good to know there's more in it if you want it to be, right? Lots more if you want to turn it into soup. Anyways, yeah, and then I didn't film a whole lot on the way home, folks, but like we finished up that dyno day at 8:30, ran and had a quick bite to eat. Then I had to drive 2.5 hours with the car and trailer in tow to get my wife and kids at her family's place in Lethbridge, Alberta. So I rolled in there at like 12:30 in the morning, hit the sheets, woke up, quick cup of coffee, pancakes, whatever that my brother-in-law Rick and his lovely wife Joni made for us, and then over to see her dad, and then boom, we had to drive 12 hours home. So we rolled in to my shop yard last night at like 9:30 at night, dropped the trailer, went home, pretty much slept at the front door, you know what I mean? Just shattered. And then today, Monday, I had to scramble with some other work-related stuff here this morning. Then I got over and pulled the car out, and here we are. So, ladies and gents, again, I don't know where this is going to end up in the video. Maybe it even won't. But if you see this, you know, I just wanted to give everybody a little summarization of what the hell was going on here, because I don't know how good a job I did at explaining it all while I was filming. It was... These days are a lot. If you've never done one, you know, a lot of nerves. We had the added element of freezing cold because we're rolling at Matthews with the door open, so it's cold in the shop. Anyway, yeah, like I think it's going to be quite funny when I look at the footage, or when you guys watch it, whatever. If you notice some really shaky footage, it's because I'm so goddamn cold / nervous / anxious / everything. The filming might be awful. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, folks. I really appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you guys enjoyed this journey as much as I did. There'll still be a few more things on this car before I roll into other projects that I got to get done. But it's been a fun ride, folks. So I hope you enjoyed it too. Take care, guys. Bye for now.